Hi beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm so glad you're joining me on this little corner of YouTube. I hope that you stay and you're blessed by this video. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So in this video, I'm going to share some tips that I have learned to help me be confident, amongst people, whether it is I'm talking to people, whether I'm making friends, or whether I am just getting to know people in general. These tips have helped me a lot in just like maintaining my cool, being confident but not overly confident to disrupt any conversation or any friendships, and I hope that they help you too. So yeah, let's get into it. The first thing I'll say is that confidence, true confidence, comes from God. I would not stress this enough. He knows you, He made you, and for different temperaments, there are like just different levels of how confidence is shown. And so, if you do not have like a thorough understanding of who you are, especially who you are in God, there is a high possibility that you'll just be exhibiting confidence that comes from the world, or like the kind that is just superficial, that is tied to the things you have or the way you look, things that you can eventually lose in a second or in a day. And so I feel like your confidence should be rooted in something more deep, something that is divine. Is why I'm saying that true confidence comes from God. He wrote your story, He created you, and so He'll be the best person to sort of drizzle that confidence. When the Bible says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, it essentially says that our source of confidence is in the power Christ wields, and that is just comfort, because that is comforting, because then it doesn't depend, it's not dependent on what I have or how I look, or the other things that the world finds attractive, but it's really on the power of God, and that's infinite. Second, I'll say why did I just do this? But secondly, I'll say put yourself out there. You cannot be in your shell and expect that all of a sudden you just begin to express confidence. You begin to talk to people freely. You begin, especially if you're shy, especially if you're more withdrawn, you need to expose yourself so that like every day you learn more about you. You learn more ways that you find easier in talking to people, talking in front of people. So by putting yourself out there, I mean maybe go for conferences, maybe like research on, which will lead me to my next point, essentially like watch videos on how to be better at speaking in front and to people. Then you need to also like just have a level of involvement in stuff that like requires talking to people, or just like hanging out with more people. So clubs are a good option, societies are a good option. There are so many other ways that you can put yourself out there, but please be sure to put yourself out there. Third, read books on confidence. Is one way I got to be confident, is one way I got to tone down. So I am more of like an extrovert, but we'll get into that later. But like I would normally want to be with people, but it tended to be a little overbearing, especially in my teenage years. So I had to read to calm it down, to bring it down to like a reasonable, very comfortable level. And so maybe you need to read to up it, or you need to read to like bring it down a notch. But I read this book, How to Talk to Anyone. It was like life-changing for me, because it talked about like having stories or having experiences or like conversational topics at the back of your head, like that you can whip out on a whim when you are talking to people, so that like it doesn't make the conversation awkward or like at a standstill when the person finishes talking. It gives you tips like how you should like listen, how you can listen better, and then engage people based on the things they've said. So like read books. There are so many books out there with people's experiences that are even like maybe worse than yours, and so once you read them, you get to understand like the basics of like conversationality, no the basics of conversation and how to be a better, you know, conversationist. Is that a word? Why am I inventing words? Yeah, on to the last point. Yeah, celebrate your little successes. It's life is too short. Just be more appreciative of like how far you've come, and celebrate those little successes. Oh, I talked to someone today, I made a friend today. And do not look down on the little improvements that you are making, because then it helps you to be better. So yeah, those are the 4 things that help me to be confident. I hope that they help you too. Remember that true confidence comes from God, and if you're not rooted in Him, if your desire is not stemmed in the story He is unfolding with your life, through your life, then you're missing out on so much. So I hope that you're blessed by this video. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe. Bye.